Hello everybody, Lord Almighty here. Today is Wednesday, May 1st, 2024, and I couldn't resist knowing that there's bass coming up shallow to spawn in this pond where I know there's some really big bass. I just had to come right back out the next day and see if I couldn't find some. I'm going to be picking up essentially right where I left off yesterday, which is just walking around looking for bedding fish or signs of bedding fish. I've got the same jig I had tied on yesterday. Look at that, it's still the same trailer too, missing that little piece that got bit off yesterday. And gonna see if there's any bass around. Might find some that I missed yesterday. There might be some that moved up overnight. So we'll see. There we go. That didn't take long. That was like my second cast. I don't know if that fish was on a bed, because it's a small fish and there's actually a drain pipe right there. So it just might have been sitting in that depression. But no matter what they're doing, a fish is a fish, and I'll gladly catch them. There we go. Again, not sure if this fish was on a bed. I was just blind casting along this rock wall and ran into a bunch of lily pad stems. So I stopped it, and then I saw my line doing something I wasn't making it do, so I set the hook. There we go. Oh, popped off. Again, I didn't see that fish. I was just blind casting along the wall here. Very well could have been on a bed. That's about where you'd expect a bedding fish to be. Well, it's definitely brighter than it was yesterday. Unfortunately, it's also windier, so the ripply water makes it a little tougher to see the fish. On the other hand, that does make it tougher for the fish to see me. Just remember that fish can see you just about as well as you can see them. If you can count the scales on their back, then they can count the hairs on your head. There we go. Now again, not sure if that fish was on a bed or if he was just hanging out under this vegetation here. But I'll take it. The end result is the same. Oh man, I knew there was like a loop in the line, so I just tried casting it out far to straighten everything out, and it just broke. I've had that happen before with fluorocarbon. I guess it just shears itself off if it lays on the reel a certain way. I hate that. That's one thing I can't stand about fluorocarbon, is it's really low, well, I say low abrasion resistance. That's kind of what its selling point is, but like it can get sheared so easily. Well, it was only a cheap Arky jig that I lost. I think I paid like $2 for it, so I'm not too upset about losing it, but now I'm down to my last black and blue jig. So hopefully this one will at least last me until the end of the evening. Uh-oh, that was a bad move. That was a total mistake. And now I think I might be done with the bait caster. I think that might be it. Yeah, I'm not even gonna try. This thing's been giving me backlashes real bad for like the last half hour for some reason. And that was finally the last straw, although it was mostly my fault. So I'm gonna put this away. But fortunately, I do have a backup. So I will see you in a couple of seconds as I run to the car and grab it. All right, everybody, I am back in action. Got the spinning rod, got a Ned rig, and I am ready to go. Can't let a thing like tackle problems slow you down, especially if you're as prone to them as I am. There we go. That one's on a bed. I see the light spot right out there. And he stole my worm. At least he left me the jig head. That's the more expensive of the two things. Little guy, but they can't all be giants. I like playing with the little guys too. There we go. That one's a little better. All right. Another one on the Ned rig. Coming off the bench due to injury, Ned rig is producing. There we go. I was just blind casting. I don't think this one's a bedding fish. This thing is pretty small for a spawner. I think he was just hanging out in that corner waiting for my Ned rig. He found it. Well, once again, the sun has gone down, and with it have gone my chances of seeing any bedding bass. So, time to wrap it up. Wound up, I think, with 6 or 7 bass tonight. Nothing big, but again, for a couple hours after work, I will take that any time. And it's good to finally be able to find a consistent bite with how difficult the spring started off for me. So, even having what is really kind of an average day still feels like a victory. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I will see you on the next adventure.